Hello game fans, and welcome to another interview at Game Anglia. And I'm here with the world famous Jupiter Hadley. I'm a huge fan of your work. I'm very jealous of your work. I can't believe how many games you get to play. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very
much for covering the event and playing the games. So just a few questions I wanted to sort of get under the skin of. You've been to a lot of game jams, and a lot of the audience that are going to be watching this video and coming to the events, they are new game developers. They're going to just be taking their first tentative steps in game jams. So what advice could you give these budding developers for game jams?
For game jams specifically? So game jams happen in a short amount of time most of the time. There are a couple of longer game jams, but people tend to go for the shorter ones. So in a game jam scenario, you normally get a theme. And the first bit of advice is, as soon as you get the theme, take your first few ideas and just throw them out. Because they're what everyone else is thinking. And if you want a game that sticks out and is not just similar to everyone else's, you really need to just get rid of your first few themes. That's the only way you'll have a unique game. Have a tiny idea of what you want to do, have core mechanics, make them work as fast as possible, and then spend the rest of your time just fleshing it out and adding loads of aspects of polish as opposed to more new mechanics. Because then you'll have a polished game, and polished games show off better than games that are clever but not as well made. And when you have a game jam, you can't keep adding in new features because you have such a small amount of time that just getting that core feature developed well will make your game way better in the end. And if you do continue it on, hopefully you'll have that core feature developed well enough for you to build on top of your game jam code, as opposed to having to restructure the whole thing from scratch, because you'll have good cores. And
so you've played a lot of game jam games, and when you see a game that's made with, say, Unity assets, is there something, obviously you've judged a lot of games, would you recommend using extra assets, or do you think there's some extra flair that comes with doing it all yourself?
I think it depends on what you're comfortable with as a developer. So using Unity assets isn't permitted in a lot of game jams. Ludum Dare, for example, you can't use preset assets. But if your strong suit isn't making assets, and you're learning and you just want to get the experience of learning out of it, don't focus your time on stuff that you don't want to do or that you don't want to learn. But you can always team up with someone who's good at assets, because having your own assets will help you stand out. It's obviously not something that has been created before. So it kind of depends on the game jam. Personally, I like seeing new assets because then I'd see always the same game.
Yeah.
But if you're starting out, there's no reason why you don't need to take like an easier route or try that way. But I'd recommend just getting a friend to help you. There's plenty of artists out there who might not even be that into games. They just might know about creating game assets, and it's a good opportunity for them to do like a one-off, oh, what's this game about, and just to create assets for you, and they'll be really willing to as well. So there's so many communities around little game jams that you can only find someone to partner with.
Yeah,
especially physical ones.
Yeah, and so you've obviously gone and critiqued a lot of games, and you've been on the voting panel for the best game. So what do people look for in a game jam? What makes it win a game jam, should I say?
Polish. Polish is a big part of winning a game jam. If your game looks and is presented well, even if the back end's messy, having sort of levels of polish, it really stands out. Game jams, it's a bit sad, but game jams are better for short experiences, because people don't have a lot of time when judging game jams to really get into games. So having like long narratives or games that don't open sort of with something that attracts a player, they're not going to be as highly ranked as games that are like arcadey. I don't want to use arcade, like, oh, make arcade games, but games that are more quick to action almost, they'll stand out a whole lot better.
Sure. And so outside of game jams, you play a ton of indie games as well. Can I ask how many games you've played this year? Ballpark?
4,826.
Wow. That is amazing.
As of today, so we'll see tomorrow.
Oh, okay. So do you have like a little counter on your phone?
I've got a spreadsheet. So this is an interesting story. Do you want to do stories?
Yeah, please do.
So I wanted to win a world record. Who doesn't want to win a world record?
Yeah.
So a long time ago, I applied for the world record after I hit 5K, and they said, "Where's your documentation?" And I went, "Oh, it's on YouTube." And they're like, "That's not good enough, man. We're not gonna watch all of these videos." And I was like, okay, I get you. So I have this like Google spreadsheet that has the name of the jam, the number of entries I've played, a link to the playlist, and then a link to an article if I wrote an article on my favorites, just to have that there. and then I have like another portion of it that's just single Let's Plays and then links and the names and the platform. And that's something I kept updating because I thought, oh, I'd apply again.
Yeah.
I applied at 20K.
Wow.
Games played, and I said, hey, can I have this award? Remember, you denied me because I don't have documentation. I have it now, and I'm actually like over 18, so well, I'm like an adult now, so I can actually like give me the award.
Where's
and they
my
were
world
like,
record?
yeah, give me, yeah, I want to win. Like it's like everyone's dream to win a world. I don't know, everyone in America maybe. Yeah, it's a great thing.
Yeah.
And they said we don't want to deal with the upkeep that would be involved with giving you your award.
Oh no.
And I was like, oh, okay.
But there's a whole Guinness Book of Records just for video games.
Yeah, I know. That's what I like. Because at first they denied me flat out, and I like inquired about it, and they denied me again. And I was like, no, I just want to know why. And finally, I got to like a human, and they went, yeah, we've looked over your stuff. It looks cool. The upkeep is not worth. Like, how would we figure out if anyone beat you? And I went, no one would.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
I'm gonna keep playing until I die.
this is just gonna go on forever.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh wow. Okay.
So yeah, I have a spreadsheet that I update daily. Like as I'm going through, I'll update the number and update just everything that's there as a force of habit. But yeah, it's quite cool to have numbers, I suppose.
I guess, what's your favourite game of the year, if you can remember?
My favourite game of the year. Now I have a prepared answer. Whenever anyone asks me this, I always say Overcooked.
Yeah.
Because I love Overcooked. And that's it. I really love Overcooked. I don't have friends.
As well, a local studio.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Do you like Overcooked?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, it's fun, yeah.
It's so much fun. I don't have any friends though, so I spent ages seeing Overcooked at events and like, come here, let's play, and like harassing the developers. When is it gonna be out? Can I play it one player? They were like, no. And I was like, I really want to play it one player. Like I don't have friends. Because I love cooking and I love cooking-based games. And I live in London, so I can make all of my friends play it every time they visit. It's really wonderful.
It's a good game.
It's a great game.
Yeah.
There are lots and lots of good games that I've played. So that's like the big title that a lot of people recognize.
Yeah.
There were some games here that I really, really loved. You guys had a great selection.
Yeah, so which was your favourite out of today's selection then?
Can I pick 3?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Yes.
You're allowing me. Okay.
Yeah.
This is hard though. Now I have to pick 3. I really like Fallen Sky. I know it's short,
Yeah.
but for a student-made game, it's probably the best student-made game I've played
Beautiful,
all this year. And
really
like
beautiful.
the way that he's done everything is so clever. So it's sort of a story-based game, as you probably know.
Yeah.
It's like a story-based game where you're following this sort of supernatural thing has occurred, but you don't really know that quite yet, just hints at it.
Yeah.
And you're sort of following the story of a guy who just got back from being away at college. He visited his brother and his mom's not there. It's a super short experience. There's 2 different endings depending on what you do. But for a student project especially, it's up there with like other projects that are not by students, like as a first project.
It's got motion capture,
yeah.
It's got absolutely everything.
Graphics are beautiful.
Cinematography is beautiful.
2 different ways to play the sound, the voice acting is wonderful. It's a great, great game. I really liked Ruya.
So peaceful.
It's so peaceful and it's so adorable. And again, the story behind it. So I really like stories.
Yeah.
The story behind it, sort of being her antlers. So the main character has those big antlers, and they sort of show that she's depressed and she can't remember things quite clearly. And she's sort of holding her child that she's then placing down, and you connect them. And it's because she's a mother and she loves them, and they're sort of building this garden that's covering up her antlers, and that's like covering up, giving her moments where she's not so depressed, and just all of that meaning.
Yeah.
Everything that Bradley did, he had so much meaning behind it. And when you talk to him and he shows you the little book that he made, the little trailer, you get this sense of like how much bigger this is than like a match 3 game. And I love that. As a simple arcadey game, I really love Mama Castle, especially at events.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm slightly addicted to it. It's a really great game. I love so Mama Castle is like a very quick arcade game. You're a cat dragon. It's like Space Harrier. Yeah, flying
but then
through.
motion controlled Space
Yeah,
Harrier.
well, he's got motion controllers, so you just control it like this, which is so much fun, and I'm really good at it. So like I can beat anyone, and I just love knowing that. I love like trying and like. Because I've gotten down to the patterns where at so many events, and he's always showcasing with that. I suck at the tablet version. I can't do the whole dragging thing. But having that sort of, like when you go to events and you showcase with a different kind of controller, but that's not like a physical handmade controller, having something that's so responsive and so almost not intimidating, because a lot of physical controller games, I find like, oh, how does this work? What do I do? But the way that the ease of the leap motion, is just really, really fun to play with. It makes you feel so powerful and so good.
And it's kind of forgiving as well, as you're ducking under rainbows and things like that. So yeah, it's got a flow to it, which is really fun to play. Well, yes, actually, Ruya got the Game of the Show as well. So the votes came in just recently, and yeah, they won Game of the Show. So at least that's something they can put on their downloads page, because now it's an award-winning game. I'm sure it's won other awards, but yes, it's definitely won a Game Anglia.
So an award that matters.
Yes, it's got a Game Anglia one. It's the main one. Yeah, well, thank you very much for taking the time to come and talk to us, and thank you very much for talking to everyone, playing all the games, going further on the world record attempt.
It's not a world record attempt anymore, it's just me.
Just a massive spreadsheet.
It's just a spreadsheet, yep.
Yeah, and yeah, it was great to meet the other speakers, John and Brenda Romero and Liz McCurry from Unity. And yeah, and if this video has been useful, then please give it a like, thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and we'll be back with another interview very soon.